Hi, it's Nick Astor with TriplePundit.com. I'm here at the 2013 South by Southwest Eco Conference in Austin, Texas. I'm here with Roy Johnson. You're the CEO of EcoFactor. Mm-hmm. Roy, give me just the 2-second download on what EcoFactor is all about.
So EcoFactor is a software company. We do energy efficiency and demand response using communicating thermostats. So we put a communicating thermostat into a home, pretty much any communicating thermostat. And then we have really clever big data-based software that manages that thermostat in a much more efficient way than a consumer ever could to save them energy. And we'll get 10 to 15% reduction in energy use on the heating and air conditioning system, which if you live in a place like Houston or Miami or Chicago or Boston, can be a really substantial amount of money.
Now that's significant. I mean, that's going to pay for itself in a relatively short order, yeah?
Yeah, and in fact, our objective is that whatever you're spending on the service, and the pricing varies depending on who you buy it from, because we sell through channels, you actually get a payback pretty much instantly. Because if you're spending, say, $6 a month for the service, and you're getting $20 a month in energy savings, you're ahead right from the very beginning. And there's lots of different ways to get the product. We actually sell only through channels, so the product is available in their whole service territory through Comcast as part of their Xfinity Home package. Mm-hmm. We also, working with a number of utilities in Nevada, in Sacramento, California, in the Chicago area, and a number of others. In Texas, actually, with Reliant.
Mm-hmm. Now, what are some of the things that the technology can do that you mentioned that these are things that are more sophisticated than a person could do on their own? What are those things?
Sure. So if you think about the way that you manage your own thermostat yourself, maybe you're one of those good people who actually, in an air conditioning scenario, let's say, you turn the temperature up when you leave the house in the morning so that you're not running the air conditioning during the day when nobody's home. Well, a lot of people don't actually do that. And one of the things that our software will do is when we first install it, we'll ask a few basic questions about lifestyle, and then we'll build a schedule for you so that if nobody's usually home during the day, we'll automatically raise the temperature during air conditioning season to save you money. Even if you are home, then we'll constantly make what we call micro adjustments to the thermostat all through the day and the night as well to save you a little bit of energy here and there. It turns out that the things we use are really just the inside temperature, the behavior of the heating and air conditioning system, and outside weather. And those things factored together into this model allow us to make a pretty substantial impact on energy use.
Mm-hmm. And then presumably you're tracking this data. You provided the consumer with some information about how things went that month and so on. What's the kind of data that folks have available now?
Yeah, exactly. So there's a page on the web page or on the iPhone app or the Android app where you can go and look and find out, okay, how am I doing so far this month or so far this year? You can see your actual energy use. You can even see, if you want, all the way down to the detail of how many minutes was my air conditioning system on today and during which parts of the day was it actually running. And then it also converts it into how much energy is being used, how much energy did you save, and we actually give you a little bit of information as well about comparing you to your neighbors and say, in your neighborhood there's other houses that are using less air conditioning than you are, and maybe you want to think about changing some of your settings as well.
Good. And have you found that people are getting into this? Are they receptive? I mean, you mentioned, it's a relatively small number of people that sit around and think to, adjust it, but here I am with even more data. Are people playing with it?
So our approach is we give people data and they can look at it if they want to, but that's not really the point. The point is really automation, because our belief is people's lives are too complicated already. They don't really want to have to think about exactly what, how to program their thermostat and how to update it and all that kind of stuff. So we're trying to automate it as much as we can. It's a little bit like using a TiVo player or a DVR where you can tell it which programs you want to record, but then it also comes up with suggestions and says, hey, how about this show? It's similar to the other shows you like, or like Amazon does on their website, where it'll say, well, you liked this book, maybe you'd like this book as well. So it's a lot of that kind of stuff as well, and trying to cut down on the amount of time that people have to spend on this while maintaining comfort and reducing their energy bill.
Unless they really want to geek out.
Yeah, exactly. And there are those people.
Yeah.
There are people that really want to pay attention, and they really want to optimize their thermostat, and they really want to make sure they're being as efficient as they possibly can. And that's another key piece of this. The other thing that we do is our software, because it understands what normal looks like in a home, in a given home, we can detect abnormal, we can detect anomalies. So we can say, oh, your air conditioning system's been working fine for months, and all of a sudden there's this problem where the air conditioner is running and running and running, and the temperature's not dropping. Now, it could be something simple like the windows or doors are open, but it could also be that there's been a coolant leak, and you need to get somebody out to have a look at your air conditioner and make sure it's okay and service it if it needs to be.
Mm-hmm. And finally, how far along are we in the spectrum of moving from a traditional dumb thermostat to this much smarter system? I mean, how many households do we have?
It's really early days. If you look at the North American market, for example, there's about 140 million housing units in total. There's probably only about maybe 1.5% penetration on communicating thermostats at this point, but it's doubling every year now. It's starting to grow really quickly because you have groups like Comcast out selling this. The other cable companies are going to do this. Lots of utilities are doing thermostat programs. You can buy thermostats like Nest or Honeywell at Home Depot and put them in yourself. So there's a lot more movement. People realize the benefits of the remote control. They like that. They like the energy savings. And so it's not that people really want to focus on their thermostat the way they focus on their phone, but there are certain advantages that you get when you connect devices, and that really makes a big difference.
Good stuff. Thanks a lot for your time,
Yeah, sure.
Roy.
My pleasure.